everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we've got something special. We're taking our first step into bolt action from Warlord Games. If you're a fan of the channel, you know that I like Warlord Games. They have several games that I really like Black Seas, the sailing game, Blood Red Skies, the epic American Civil War. There's all kinds of games they make, and this is their basically 28mm World War II miniatures game. This is the starter box that has US Marines and Japanese, so refighting those Pacific battles. This is called Island Assault, and again it's part of Bolt Action. Flipping it over, on the back we can see that it comes with quite a few goodies. It has a rulebook, 24 plastic multi-pose Marines, 24 plastic multi-pose Japanese infantry, a plastic M3A1 half-track, a plastic Type 97 Chai-Ha medium tank, a resin Japanese pillbox, 2 resin Japanese spider holes, Island Assault booklet, quick reference sheet, assembly leaflets, plastic templates, plastic pin markers, rulers, 10 6-sided dice, and 12 bolt action order dice. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. I've never played bolt action before, but let's go ahead and open it up. I'm going to be kind of honest here. I'm excited for this. I've got a lot of people, a lot of fans of the channel have been asking me if we would be covering bolt action, since we do a lot of Flames of War. And Flames of War is 15mm. I don't necessarily consider bolt action a competitor because it's an entirely different scale. But I haven't played it yet, so it'll be interesting to see what it is as someone who plays a lot of 15mm World War II, what the jump to 28mm is going to mean. So it'll be good. All right, so we've got the rule book. It's quite a thick rule book, and it's quite beat up, actually. I'm not one of those people that requires a pristine rule book, but looks pretty interesting. So we're going to have other videos where we delve into the rules and things like that. So this isn't a rules overview or a review of the game system or anything like that. This is just an unboxing of the starter set. Alright, so in addition to the rules, we have Island Assault, which looks like it's got some history, assembling your forces, great artwork. Like you will also need order dice and a suitable receptacle, such as a cup or dice bag, or a bolt action branded coffee mug. Pretty cool. Order of play. So that's pretty good. So this looks like just kind of a getting started booklet. Pretty cool. All right, we have, looks like just a way to rules all in one area. Oh, look at that, a cardboard tape measure. And another one. Okay, nice. All right, what do we got in here? We've got the order dice and regular dice. I know this has a pretty innovative way of doing initiative, whereas you randomly draw a die out of a cup, and if it's your die, you activate a unit. If it's the enemy's die, they activate their unit. So theoretically, you could draw 2 or 3 of your own in a row, but obviously odds-wise, that gets worse and worse. So cool. So we have those dice. We have Cosmina to thank for the contents of this box. So thank you, Cosmina. We have some wool or cotton to do smoke, and some, looks like some little card discs in there. So I imagine this might be the resin. And Melissa packed the resin. So thank you, Melissa. So there's a Japanese pillbox, very cool looking. Nice quality. Like a palm leaf there. I can put my palm trees to use from my African terrain of Flames of War. And then these ones, these might be the spider holes. So, two unique ones, very cool looking. So there's like a machine gun sticking out of that. I'm not sure about that one, but cool, cool. This looks like a model kit for the half track. Boy, that's so big when you're used to 15mm, isn't it? Wow, looks nice. We'll get this out of the package and look at it a little bit closer in a little bit. So this must be the bases. And if you play Warhammer or things like that, you know that that's like in a heroic 32mm now. So these are 28mm, so a little bit smaller than your typical Warhammer. But very nice bases. So here it looks like we've got, these are all 4 sprues of the same thing. I'm assuming this is the Japanese sprue, since I see some officer swords and things like that. These 4 frames are the Americans. Are these identical? If we do it, line it up that way, it's easier to tell. Yeah, these are all identical as well. Then we have, this must be the Chai-Hi. These are very cool looking, like pin markers. So I wonder if they must act as a dial, because you've got some numbers on here. But I'm not sure how that goes. Well, set it to the side for now. We've got, this looks like a weapon sprue. I see some Thompson machine guns, a bazooka, maybe some carbines, some pistols. Very cool. So you get one of those. Then over here, you've got what almost looks like infantry bases. I'm not sure what, or sorry, not infantry, like cavalry bases. Not sure what those go for. Then you've got some templates. I'm not sure what these are. Action markers, something. I'm sure there's bolt action players watching, just shaking their head at me like, oh, he's such a novice. And you got Japanese flags, which are very nice. These are just paper, but you can do a lot with paper. You've got a decal sheet. This is for the Chi-Ha. Then you've got the unit card. I'm guessing. I don't see. Oh, it's got points here. No stats on it that I can see. Oh, there we go. Weapons. Yeah, cool. Then you've got the M3 half track. So I don't know why you have 2 of these. Maybe you can build that model as the Chi-Ha or the Kai Shinutu. Chai-Ha. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. That's all I'm going to say about that. Then we have the Chi-Ha Medium Tank Assembly Guide. That's a hefty assembly guide. Oh look, there's the decal sheet for the half-track. Very nice. I was wondering if that came with that. Decal application guide. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this. I had some models from, I forget what company, but they did their tracks like this in 15 millimeter, and it was really annoying. But maybe a 28 millimeter, it's a lot easier, looks better, not as fiddly. So we'll reserve judgment for once it's assembled. But very cool. Looks like all kinds of stuff. Oh, some lovely painting guides. Nice. And then you've got one for the Marines. So it lists all the weapons. So this is a U.S. weapon sprue that we were looking at before, with a description of all of the weapons that are on there. And then there's the United States Marine sprue, which is nice. So these aren't push fit or anything like that. These look like these are true multi-pose, because you've got the bodies, but these arms don't lock into place, so you can pose them pretty much any way you want. That has its pros and cons. You get much more involved in the building of your models, and even though we've got 4 frames, so theoretically 4 of the same thing, you could have different arms on different bodies and things like that without any problems. And then there's the Japanese infantry sprue. That's where those bigger stands, those cavalry bases, come in for light machine guns. And then it looks like the half-track is a lot easier to assemble than the Chai-Ha, because you only get 1 page. Okay, so I'm not sure where I'm going to start here. I want to build something to show you just the quality of the kits, once they're assembled. But before that, let's just take a closer look at some of these frames. All right, first up, we're looking at the Japanese infantry sprue. And we see some of the details. Over here, we've got the heads, arms, actual arms and weapons arms. Looks like belts, more weapons. Then we have the torsos, which look like they have a nice amount of detail. I know the back of the box said there's 24 models in here, so there's 6 bodies on each one of these. More weapons. Looks really good. There's the back of the torsos. I know that they have several starter sets. I don't know what's currently in print and what's not, or just floating around there. I think they had a Band of Brothers inspired one at one point with U.S. paratroopers. I've always had a soft spot for the Marines, so I was excited to pick this up. And we can see some of the American Marine heads there, arms, the torsos. Looks like a mixture of BARs, Thompsons, Garands, carbines, all kinds of good stuff on there. Now I'm sure points wise this works out so that these two starting forces are balanced. Just looking at it as a newcomer, it seems like the Japanese get a pretty cool looking tank and the Americans only get a half track. So I'm assuming the Americans either their infantry is more expensive, or they have something to counterbalance the tank on the Japanese side. But I don't know. I say it's probably balanced, but to be honest, I could be totally wrong on that call. And you know, that's okay too. I imagine some of the point cost will change depending on what weapons you give your guys, right? I don't know. So I would like to hear from any viewers that are bolt action players. Where's a good place to start in your recommendation? And I got the starter set. I know they have starter armies, which we may pick up for some of the guys here at AmGas so that we could get started on armies at about the same time. But anything essential you recommend? Anything you recommend staying away from? All right, so this is the Japanese tank, the Chiha. And it's very nice that it comes in its own kind of wrap so that it keeps it separate from the other parts. Just keeps those parts a little bit safer, I think. Man, I just can't get over how big it is because I'm so used to those tiny 15 mil tanks. All right, let's see. We got tread detail. Let's get this out of the way. Top of the hull. Wheel detail. It looks really nice. So it looks like the main hull, or the bottom of the hull anyway. The turret pieces over here. I guess that's the top of the turret. Oh, it almost looks like there's two turrets. Maybe it's for those different versions we saw on the card. But pretty nice detail. I was going to say nothing broke off the sprue. I did that. I just pushed that piece in it. Kind of came a little bit loose. But lots of little, I mean, armor panels or whatever. So it's going to take a little bit more effort to assemble these than your typical 15 millimeter tank. But overall, looks pretty good. I guess the last thing to take a look at would be the half track. Some of the track detail. I think at one point, I don't know how long they've had plastics in their range, like plastic vehicles. I know that a lot of their stuff, if not all when they started out, was kind of resin and metal, similar to Flames of War. And as the game has grown, the plastics have expanded and gotten more sophisticated. You can see the infantry compartment. Some stowage. Looks like a driver. The machine gun ring. Very cool. All right, I know I keep repeating myself, so I'm going to go ahead and just build a few things here out of the box set just to give you an idea of what it looks like assembled, and then we'll come back with the final thoughts on this starter box. Well, my friends, I constructed some of the models, and I'm back to give you my thoughts, my initial thoughts. So the models are pretty fun to put together. They're a little bit more complicated than Flames of War models, which it's kind of obvious since it's a much bigger scale, but they're not hard at all. The infantry reminded me of older Warhammer models where you had the separate arms and torsos that you could glue together and create different positions. So you have lots of options. So I put together 6 infantry, basically just one frame of infantry. And this is what I had left. So there's lots of little doodads on the one frame. There's plenty of pouches and alternate hands and guns and heads. So there's really a lot of ways you can build this. So I imagine that even though we have 4 identical frames, we're going to get a lot of variation, or at least you can get a lot of variation out of your troops. Another thing while I was building it, I really appreciated the instructions for the half track. It was pretty straightforward. As far as kit quality, I think it went together really well. This half track in particular is really nice. Now it has a bunch of stowage and it has a bunch of machine guns, which I did not put on yet. I figured I'd try painting it first. I did tack that guy in there, but I didn't glue him down. He's kind of hard to squeeze in there once that machine gun ring is on there. But boy, it sure is a nice little model. It has all kinds of extra stuff as well that you can put on the outside. Yeah, I really like the model. The infantry, like I said, I didn't have any problem with it. It takes a little bit more advanced modeler to put together these kits, like I said, but if you've done anything like older 40K, Star Wars Legion, none of this is reinventing the wheel. It's really cool, and the way that these kits are laid out, it gives you a lot of flexibility. I really like that they included in the rulebook how to build these. So this is for the starter set that's in this box, and it tells you, build an HQ guy, a first lieutenant and a second soldier with carbines, and it tells you what weapons: an NCO with a submachine gun, 2 with Browning automatic rifles, and 7 with rifles in each squad. So I really appreciate how that's laid out, and then there's plenty of pictures again to help you kind of pick what you want. There were some pictures here. The way that the sprue is laid out, it tells you what weapons, so you can even make sure you put the right ammo pouches with the right gun. Even the weapon sprue, and again it shows you some different variations here. So really, really nice. I really like it. And that's so far my dealings with the assembly. So I guess we'll jump to the conclusion. Well, I guess before that, let me give you a little size demonstration, at least for the vehicles. Let's get this out of the way. So this is a this is a Flames of War half track, and you can see the difference between 15 millimeter and 28 millimeter. So it's pretty cool. It's like a little baby. And then this is a Space Marine Rhino, kind of a, this is 30K, but it doesn't really matter for scale purposes. Kind of show you the side, which you could call Warhammer 32 millimeter heroic scale versus 28. You see, this is kind of small. Now this feels small to me with this infantry, and I don't know if it's slightly small to scale or just that's how kind of the half track was. It was just a small thing, but nothing to detract from the overall aesthetics of the game. I really like it. Okay, so final thoughts on the starter set. Starter set, I give it a thumbs up. I like it. It is, for the cost and what's in the box, I think it's a great deal. I know Warlord can be pricey, particularly anything that's made out of their resin can be pretty expensive, and ordering it from the UK to the US where we're located, ordering directly from Warlord can be a little expensive, but as far as a starter set goes, I really like this. Now, does this mean this is going to replace Flames of War? No, not really. I mean, even though it's the same theme, same setting, I think these games, at least in initial glance, are different enough to be unique and fun. You know, Flames of War is more a company level battle, and this seems to obviously go into a lot more detail. Each guy has a particular weapon. A carbine is going to work different than a BAR versus a submachine gun versus a sniper rifle. So every model is potentially has a different weapon and shoots differently. So it's going to play different than Flames of War. So I'm looking forward to getting this painted up and playing a battle with the starter set. I do just want to get a battle in with the starter set before I decide to, if I want to continue collecting or if that's just going to be it. But sound off down below. One, would you guys like to see more bolt action being covered on the channel? And no, for our Flames of War people, it doesn't mean less Flames of War coverage, but it's just a fun additional game. Or what's your opinion on bolt action? I'd like to hear that as well. All right, guys, there you go. That's a look at the Island Assault Bolt Action World War II starter set. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Click that bell to receive notification when we release new content. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.